This is Abby from the Medicineless PharmD. Let's talk a little bit about what I meal prepped this week. This week was a little involved. I meal prepped over the course of the whole day today. Not that I made a lot of things, but it was just a lot of layers. I do like making my own beans to use in my cooking. I try not to use too much canned beans. It's just my preference, right? I love doing prepping my own beans. It also goes with the fact that when I open a canned beans, it's a lot of beans in there. Like I'll open a can of chickpea and that's a lot of chickpea. If I'm meal prepping like a chickpea curry and then freezing the curry, that works perfectly fine. And I do that too. But sometimes I'll use chickpea to, I'll spice up some chickpea, add some seasoning, air fry it, make it a little crispy and add it to my salad. Then that whole can of chickpea is a lot. And then I'll use a little bit and there'll be a little bit left. And before you know, I'm eating like chickpea curry, I'm eating chickpea in the salad, and the whole week is all about chickpea. And I do not enjoy that. So I do use canned beans a lot, but most of the time I try to prep my own beans. So once a month, maybe, I will make my own beans. I do have like an insert for the Instapot, and things really get very easy if you guys get into the routine of it. If you find what works for you and what kind of food you like to eat, then even though it sounds like a lot of layers, probably listening to it, you probably feel like, oh my God, there's so many things we need to do. It comes easy to me because this is what I do. I do it all the time. I have an Instapot insert and it has like 3 different sections. I'll post some video over here. I always do 2 beans and 1 lentil. So today I made sure that I made the lentil. So let's talk about what I did with the beans and what I made. I did leave the garbanzo beans for later. It was just like a prep for a later time. But the other beans that I made, it's called board beans. It is like an Indian bean. So I did make like a coconut curry with the Indian bean. I had some frozen bell peppers, so I added the bell pepper, I added the Indian beans. It's like I have onion paste that I have like an onion base that I defrosted out of the freezer. I batch cook onion and tomato paste and I have them handy. So I just defrost them, and when I make my beans, the beans itself takes so many layers. There's so many things to wash and like fuss about that I don't do anything else, right? I just defrost the onion base that I make, and then I just add the garbanzo beans. I add like any kind of vegetables I want. Today I added bell peppers that was already cut and frozen. So I added the bell peppers, and it's like a kitchen sink kind of recipe at that point. I had some leftover arugula. They were just so little. So I added the arugula in there. I think I had like 1 small pepper. I added that in there. If you have carrots or like peas, or like you had some little bit of like frozen vegetables in the freezer in a small pack, you could always add those things in there. So I just add that, add some curry powder, and I added coconut milk in it, and that's the secret, right? The coconut milk. It like sweetens the whole curry and it tastes amazing. Again, I don't want you guys to get hung up on what I am making, because what I'm making is probably not what you're making, right? So when you guys might not even be making beans, you probably will be making chicken or like some other meat for your protein. If that's the case, then the concepts are still the same, right? So let's talk about what I did for this week, right? So I meal prepped like 5 containers of like rice dish in a mason jar. So in a mason jar, I pre-measured beets, the seasoning for it I added in the mason jar, and I just like froze them. On the day when I need to make rice, on the top of the jar, I already have written like the measurements. So it's just like a cup of rice, and I'll just like add a cup of rice. Like I'll wash a cup of rice, add this mason jar in it, just empty it out, And then it's just like how much ever water it's all written on the mason jar, so I don't have to think about it. Because by the time I go to cook, I will forget what I really added in there, right? So if I'll add the vegetable. If it's a cup of water, I add the water right into that mason jar. I'll shake all the spices out and I'll just pour them out, right? So I did beets and I did my seasoning in there. And I also did the beans that I made, the Indian beans, the board beans that I made. I added that with a little bit of bell pepper and some seasoning and curry powder into a jar, and that became another rice. And I had some frozen vegetable. I took some Costco frozen vegetable and I added some like biryani seasoning to it. It's like biryani masala you could get at the Indian store. I added that in it and I wrote the measurements, and that got frozen. And I also felt like herbs and stuff. I was in a mood for herbs, probably because spring is coming and summer is coming. Even the weather is still like cold, I think I'm ready, you know? So I'm like trying to add like herbs into my cooking. It's funny how that works, right? So I actually had gotten some mint. I just shredded some mint. I added some mint, and I had like the Mina lemon preserve that I use for my regular cooking. I have like a whole bottle, and I've been trying to incorporate them into my cooking as much as possible, so I could see if I'll use them, if I should preserve some lemon myself. It's like something that I'm thinking about. So I did add a little bit of the Mina lemon, like I cut up some lemon in there, and then I just pre-measured the water that I'll use for the rice, and I added it in there. Because it's just like shredded mint, and then like the lemon preserves like lemon cut into small pieces, and the water is there. The day I need to make it, I could just throw the whole thing, defrost it in a small container with water. I'll put the mason jar in it, defrost the whole thing, and all I have to do is wash the rice and pour like that liquid in it, and you're done. Like I could turn on the cooker, and the rice cooker will take care of the recipe. So I did make 2 of those jars. I'll probably use one this week and another one next week, or this week if I feel like it, you know, however that goes. We'll see how that works out. So I have like 5 different rice dishes ready to go. But then some of them are like a cup of rice, so it'll last me for like 2 servings. Sometimes my daughter will eat here, sometimes she'll eat her dad's, so it's hard for me to figure out how much food I'm really going to eat, right? It all depends. So I try to give myself a little grace and like some leeway, so I could like wing the food, like wing what I'm gonna make as the week comes. I'm not strict with my meal prep. It's not like Monday I'm gonna eat this, Tuesday I'm going to eat this. I do get in a mood sometimes, and I'll do those recipe planning, which is great. If you guys could do it, you should do it. Lately, it's just not worked great for me because of how things sometimes change. I also made an Indian root vegetable. It is like a kind of yam. Because I pulled out my Instapot and I did all of that layer of cooking, the yam needs to get like cooked in the Instapot for this recipe. I mean, the yam could get cooked either way, but it's easy if you pre-cook the yam in the Instapot with skin on, because the skin is so dirty in some of the yams, right? Especially when you look at ethnic yams. So it's good to cook those yams in like an Instapot under a pressure cooker, and then it's easy to just take off the skin, right? This way the yam doesn't get dirty. It's like a trick, right? Like an easy way to cook yam. But again, you do have to cook them in an Instapot, so it does add like a layer of complexity to it. So I feel like it's not worth it unless I'm taking my Instapot out already for something else. So since I made the lentil, I have like a stand that props up so the yam is not touching the water and it's just getting steamed. Because again, the yam, if you put it in the water, it is a little dirty, and when the heat kicks in, all the soil will loosen, and no matter how many times you wash them, it'll still get the yam dirty, and then you're washing the yam, and it just gets messy. So I just prop them on top of that stand so it gets all nice and steamed. And the yam gets cooked for 9 minutes in the pressure cooker setting. You could just like layer them on top. And then I peel the yam, I'll cut them, I seasoned them with oil, and I used, I think I used curry powder and my seasoned salt in there. But again, you could do whatever you want with it. You could also substitute the yam for like sweet potatoes or potato, or you could go to Whole Foods or your local grocery store and challenge yourself. Get like a different root vegetable, right? Because root vegetables are hard to mess up. They always taste good when you roast them. So why not, right? Try different things. I do tend to cook a lot of different kind of yams, and this is what I do. Maybe over my journey in this YouTube channel, you guys will probably see me making all different kinds of yam. So this one I got at the Indian store. So you peel them, you cut them, and then you season them however you want to. And then I write the directions and all of that right on top of there. Because when you come out of work all like tired and stuff, you'll come home and you'll look at the yam and you're like, how many minutes was it? Is it like 350? Was it like 400? I always question myself. I don't know why. On the day I'm food prepping, I'm in the zone and I know everything. But then when I come back to cook over the course of the week, it just gets like, I get a little like overwhelmed. So I put the thing right on it. I roast all of my roots at 400 Fahrenheit in the air fryer. And then I just do it for like 15 minutes. After 15, if you're just doing a small serving, 15 minutes might be fine. But if you're doing a big serving and you do 2 trays, you might have to do it for longer. Again, you could always open it midway, like shake it, like turn it around a little bit so it gets roasted nice and evenly, right? And you roast it per your preference. Do you like it nice and crunchy? Sometimes you want it soft. It all depends, right? So you could roast it to your preference. So as a rule of thumb, it's 400 Fahrenheit. It's like 15 to 20 minutes. And I also had some beets cut up. So I pre-seasoned my beets too. So I could roast the beets and the root vegetable over the course of the week. I have actually now started making a lot of seafood. And I have stopped defrosting fish and like seafood to cook them or roast them in the air fryer because it's a pain, right? I bet you guys all know what I'm talking about. You like take the single serving. I get all my seafood at Costco, right? It's like single serving packs. It's a plastic pack, and I defrost it over the counter or in the fridge, however I do it. And then you open the packs, and like you have like this liquid coming out, like once it's defrosted. And then you're like trying to take all the liquid out, and then you're trying to put the fish in some kind of pan without like contaminating stuff. And then you're trying to like move this plastic wrapper to the garbage, dripping everywhere, and we all know how that works. I mean, you have to do what you have to do, but I don't cook my fish, I don't thaw my fish anymore, which has changed my life. I do eat a lot more seafood now, just because I don't have to thaw them. I take my fish straight from the freezer to the air fryer, and it works just fine. I'll do my salmon. They all get baked at 400 Fahrenheit. I'll do my salmon for like 10 to 15 minutes, maybe like 15 to 20 minutes, because I use skin on. I get the salmon and skin on. So I'll do the salmon 15 to 20 minutes. I would do the shrimp for like 10 to 12 minutes. I'll flip them in the middle. I actually got scallops at Costco, and that came out amazing in the air fryer from the frozen state. And that was just 5 minutes, like 10 minutes, 5 minutes on each side, right? I just did it for 10 minutes and it was great. And it's the most easiest thing to do. So I actually have started portioning out my shrimp and pre-seasoning them in the frozen state in a Ziploc bag. So I put some oil, and I'll put I did one with my seasoned salt, which I use all the time. And then when it comes out, I'll put some lemon over it or something else over it too, like herb or something to change up the flavor. But sometimes I'll have like I'll try different things, right? You go to the store, you'll grocery shopping, you'll look at something and you'll be like, oh, that looks good, I want to try it. So I do that a lot. And when I do that a lot, when I get stuff like that, I make sure I use them, right? I'll find ways to use them. So I went to Costco and they had like a Mediterranean pack and they had 3 different things, like a tzatziki sauce, I'd like to say hummus, and they had like a spicy herb sauce. It was pretty good actually. And I did get the spicy herb sauce. I'm not sure what I'm going to do when I'm out of it because I don't think Costco would, it doesn't look like something Costco would have all the time. It looks like a seasonal item. Maybe I'll if I love it so much, maybe I will look at the regular grocery store, see if I could find that particular sauce. It's like a spicy herb sauce, and it had it's like just like a green paste. You probably see in the video about. So I used that green paste, like the herb seasoning. I used this herb sauce to season one of my other packs of shrimp. And again, I put like all of the like. Sometimes I'll tell my daughter to throw shrimp, like if I'm running late from work, I'll call her and I'll be like, can you throw that in the oven? And then I don't have to tell her the whole like instructions and stuff. I do have instructions written on there, so I could get help when I can. So it works. So I did do some shrimp, and I also marinated scallops, which I'm gonna make probably today, which I made today. So I did like, I did marinate 2 packs of shrimp and a pack of scallops. And then I made, so that's like for the whole course of the week. I have rice, I have that. And then I used the board beans and I made like curry for the week, which is great. So I'll have that with roti, I'll have that with like idlis and stuff, or rice, anything like that. I also cooked lentil and I mashed the lentil, and I also do a tomato base. So I do onion base because when I'm using coconut curry, I don't like adding tomatoes to the coconut curry. I mean, you could add some tomatoes, but it cannot be like a tomato paste. They don't go well. So I do onion base, and I'll use that for all of my cooking that needs like coconut milk or like other kind of like seasoning added to it. And I also do tomato curry base. So all I did was add the tomato curry base, and I added some greens to them, added the lentils, and I made the lentils. It's a whole cup of lentil, and I'm not going to eat the whole lentil from by myself over the course of the week. So usually I'll freeze a whole pack. Like I'll freeze a whole pack, and then I'll leave 2 servings for me. So I had the tomato curry base, which I added to a pan with some seasoning. I added the lentil to it, and there you go, I'm done. I kept 2 servings for the week, and I froze the rest of the lentils. Because I'm already doing beans this week, I have other things going, I have shrimp, and I don't need lentil. I froze the lentil. Maybe next week I'll pull out that lentil and I'll do other things with it. And then I had some cabbage, cut cabbage. I'm gonna post some videos on how I made the cabbage. It's called kuttu, and it's like a South Indian dish. Well, no, I mean, I don't want any South Indians to watch it and judge me over how I made that kuttu. It is a South Indian inspired dish. Let's put it that way, all right? I use my own seasoning and stuff. So it is not what my mom would make, but it tastes pretty close, right? And it's so easy to make that I'll make. So people usually, like South Indians usually don't use purple cabbage. They'll use like the green cabbage. But my daughter loves the purple cabbage, so we get them. Sometimes when you're cooking the purple cabbage with lentil, it becomes like almost like a dirty grayish like color, which is interesting, right? But again, it tastes amazing. So I made like the cabbage with a little bit of coconut milk and like lentil, and it's a combination of stuff. And then I also had like a garbanzo beans, like a pack of garbanzo beans that I left, just like 1 serving. I will season them, throw them in the air fryer, crisp them up. I did not make any salad yet. I do have some iceberg lettuce and like cucumbers and stuff, some carrots. So I will probably make a salad over the course of the week. And when I make that salad, I will probably roast the garbanzo beans, make them a little crispy, and add them like a topping. And that's a plan. And I could always boil some eggs and throw them in there. But the thing, I sometimes will send my daughter shopping, and when she goes shopping, I'll be like, you could get one vegetable of your choice, you could get one green of your choice. So she did get the greens of her choice, and she ended up getting radicchio green. I do not cook radicchio green, so a couple weeks ago when she went shopping, she got like radicchio greens, right? They were like, I'll try and see if I could put a picture of it up there. They were like a cute purple, like a small, it looked like a flower, it was like a purple thing. And then something that looked like a rose, and it was really small, and she got like a small one. And they were super expensive. They're like $14.99 a pound or $15 a pound or something like that. And I was like, wow, what the hell is this, right? It's so expensive. And I'm not a big salad person. I don't eat a lot of salads. I get in my mood, like I get on my days, like there'll be days when I feel like I want to eat a salad and I'll eat them, but not my favorite thing. If you said you didn't have salad, I won't be upset. I'll be happy to eat anything else you make. So when I looked at the radicchio greens, I didn't want to make a salad out of that because they also tend to get bitter and stuff. So we looked it up. So apparently people grill them with like olive oil, butter and stuff like that. At that point, so last couple of weeks ago when she got that small radish, like the radicchio greens, we did grill them. So I put some butter, oil, I put a generous amount of butter, oil, I put my like seasoned salt, and I kind of like roasted them right in the butter. They were so good, they were amazing. So I looked at her and I said, all right, they were good, right? I'm like, that does taste amazing. So this weekend but it's expensive. So let's watch it. Like, let's not get it all the time. This weekend when she went, she got like a whole big, like a pound of radicchio green. This is like a different variety, right? It looks like a big cabbage, right? And it's like radicchio. I'll put some pictures up there. And so I still didn't make the salad because that was a big like green. So she loved it and she was like, just make it the way you made it last time. And I'm like, all right. So we did the scallop. I did like a herbed rice this time. The same spicy sauce, herb sauce that I was talking about that I got at Costco. I added like a couple spoons of the herb sauce to rice, and I just like added water and I just threw it in the air fryer with some salt, and it came out amazing. So I had like herbed rice. I made the scallop. So I did make the radicchio green. So it was a whole big one and it was a lot. So we cut it into half, and then I cut that into half to have like 2 different serving because it was so big. I wasn't sure if it would soak in all the butter and the oil and stuff. But I know the picture doesn't do it justice because I messed up how I cut it. One was small, one was big, and it became a little sloppy. But it tasted amazing. I just added a little bit of butter, olive oil, like let it come to a sizzle, added my like seasoned salt to it, and then I just layered like the radicchio greens and just flipped them a couple times, and they were amazing. I really loved it. I did add some balsamic vinaigrette at the end on top of the radish just to sweeten it up a little bit because they are like a bitter green, but they were really refreshing. And to her point, she was also trying to get all of the different kind of radicchio green before they ran out of, before they became off season. The stores don't have them all the time. It's only sometimes that they have those radicchio greens. So that's how I made them, right? So maybe you guys could get inspired with this. And if you find some greens or some kind of like buttery lettuce that's a salad lettuce, and you buy them, you see them, and you want to really make something, I think if you don't like adding it to a salad all the time, if you want something warm, I think this is a great idea. I think this recipe would this way of cooking would kind of work, right, for all of those buttery beans. Just some butter, oil, like seasoning, and just like put them face down so they could soak in, all the layers could soak in all of the flavors, and then just like cover it up and like steam it and then take it out and let it dry out. I think that will work well for all of them. I'll probably put like a thing of what we ate, like a plate of what we ate. We had scallop, like rice, like the herb rice, the lettuce, and I had some radish and potatoes from last week. I had just a little bit of leftovers, so I heated it up in the air fryer and we had all of that. It came out amazing. But again, when you guys are trying to make cook for the week, just think about all of these concepts, right? Like I made a cabbage soup. I'll have the cabbage, the purple cabbage. I usually have it like a soup, like a bowl of hearty soup. It'll be the purple cabbage, and then I'll probably have some bread with it as a side and soak it up, soak up all of those like coconut milk and stuff, and that's how I have it. I also have the beans that I made, and that becomes like a curry. I'll usually have them with chapati, roti, chapati, it's all the same. Or some naan, or if you have any other bread, you could have them along with it. I'm South Indian, so I have it with rice. I'll make idli or dosa, and I have it with dosa and stuff. And then I already have like I make like 2 or 3 meat items like fish, seafood, and then you have like a couple of roast vegetables. This is just like a basic skeleton, right, of what I kind of eat. And then I'll make more things over the course of the week. I have frozen vegetables in my freezer all the time. Sometimes I'll pull some frozen vegetables and make ramen with it. Just take a ramen, as I throw the ramen in the water, I'll also throw some frozen vegetables. As I heat up the water, I'll throw some frozen vegetables in the water and I just make ramen with it, right? So I do other things. I'll sometimes make pasta and just eat them with like roast vegetables on the side. There's so many other things I do over the course of the week, but these are the basic stuff I have. This way I know if I eat all of those, like I made them, so I'll try to finish all of these things, and when I eat all of this, there's enough amount of like healthy vegetables that I've got in my diet, and that's how I look at it. So when you guys start cooking for the week, think of what the skeleton is. I am in a mood to eat more rice this week. I felt like I wanted more carbs, so I did do a lot of rice dish, but then I added vegetables and stuff to the rice dish, right? So I'm going to try and cook a warm rice every day. My daughter might take that for lunch. I will take that for lunch. We might even have some leftover for dinner. So that's the mood I'm in. So I made a lot of rice dishes and like got them ready. I felt like soups, so I had some Indian soup items, and I have bread already ready to go. I got like this big, my daughter loved Panera's broccoli and cheddar soup, and she's in love with it, right? And she loves getting the bread bowl with the broccoli cheddar soup. So we decided, so when we went to Costco, we got 2 packs of the broccoli cheddar soup. We did have the first pack with regular bread and stuff, and it's all done 2 weeks ago. But I had frozen the next pack, so we defrosted the next pack, and I wanted it to be in a bread bowl, right? I was just in a mood for it. Maybe I'll put some picture on how that looks like, how I made that bread bowl. So I got like a bread we have the Hartford Baking Company here, and they make like fresh bread every day. So I got like a sourdough bread. We hollowed out the inside. But then I didn't pour like the whole like soup in it, because then that'll make the bread soggy, and I'm not going to eat the whole bread. It's just like a mood of bread with, a bread bowl. So I just like added, I cut like a piece of it out, and I just poured the soup in a Pyrex dish, and we put like the whole dish inside. So it was like a bread bowl. We were able to rip the sides and kind of dip and eat, which was like real fun, So I have bread from there, and then I have leftover bread, like that was a big bread. So I have leftover bread from that, so I'll have it with soup and stuff. And then I also have lentil that I'll have with rice, and maybe make some frozen vegetable along with it quickly as I come from work and stuff. Again, I want you guys to think about, look at this and kind of think about how this food prep will work for you guys. What will you make? What kind of soup will you guys do? What kind of vegetables you will eat? Are you roasting stuff? Are you baking stuff? Are you steaming other vegetables? Kind of pre-prep stuff like vegetables and rice dishes and stuff. This way, when you come when you come tired from work, there's not like a lot of like cutting and like, I know like the mint lemon water that I left in the freezer, it's so easy to make. Obviously, you could come back from work, take some mint, like sliver them, add some, like take like a piece of like mina preserve, take a lemon, cut it up in a cutting board. You could add them all together with rice right then and there. Obviously, you could do it. It's easy to do. I feel like for me, it's easy to do now, but 7 o'clock at night when I'm tired and I'm hungry, I'm like, no, it's a lot of work. I have to now like take a cutting board, wash the herb, cut them, and then like the preserve, and then I have to wash all of this, and then I have to put it in a rice cooker. It just ends up, I feel like it's good to notice when you come at night and when you're cooking your meal, or even in the afternoon. When you're cooking your meal, or when you think about making a certain dish, what are all the blocks that come for you? What makes you think, oh my God, do I really have to do it now? I can't believe I have to like marinate this chicken. Like, I can't believe I need to wash all these pots that I marinated the chicken in. If that's a block that comes for you, then you'll pre-marinate the chicken, throw them in a Ziploc. This way you just empty it out in like a baking tray and like throw the Ziploc out and you're done, right? So as you guys are going through this journey with me, I'll talk a lot more about how I do what I do. And maybe that could help you guys look through your cooking, what you make and stuff, and think about what are the blocks that come to you. What makes you feel as if it's a lot of work? And simplify that particular step right then and there, right in that particular point. Hope my food prep this week was helpful for you guys. I hope you guys could take something out of here and make your own food prep easy and start prepping for your week and start eating healthy and are able to maintain like a consistent food prep journey. Thank you for listening to me. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.